So South Africa's golden boy, the coolest kid in Africa, NastyC, a lyrical prodigy who was once hailed as the future of African hip-hop, but somewhere along the line, the future got confusing. Today we're asking a serious question. Does NastyC have an identity crisis, and is his music suffering because of it?
Yo, I shouldn't be neglecting this market to chase this market, because this one is the one that everyone thinks, you know. And then we took a step back. We looked at all the places that we went to and did like our own shows, because I think that's how you test your imprint in the market.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, when you do your own show.
So NastyC blew up at just 18 years old. Tracks like Juice Bag, Hell Nah, and Don't Do It turned him into a household name, not just in South Africa, but across the continent. He had it all: flow, cadence, hunger, and arguably one of the most polished deliveries in African rap. But most importantly, he had a sound. It was fresh. He was blending American style trap flows with a uniquely South African perspective. He was a young kid with bars rapping about school, girls, and ambition. That was NastyC's identity: authentic, raw, and local, but with global appeal.
Yeah, can't be mad at it, you know. Everyone wants the rapping NastyC. I even fought for us to get the rapping NastyC, but I guess let's enjoy the phase that bro is in, and then maybe in the future we'll get the rapping NastyC. But in terms of like hopping on everything, I think Blackie is also like one of them rappers to hop on anything, dog. I'm talking about piano, I'm talking about, you know, maybe NastyC wants to do the same thing, or he's been doing the same thing, I don't know, but we just know the rapping NastyC. It's what we want. I don't know if it's just me.
So then came Strings and Bling, what is arguably one of his best projects, and the album was a major turning point. It was bigger, more polished, and more international. Songs like King with A$AP Ferg showed he was thinking beyond South Africa. SMA was emotional, melodic, and vulnerable, a clear attempt to show range. But here's where things started to kind of shift, because some people felt as though instead of building on the gritty, relatable sound that actually made him famous, NastyC began chasing a broader, almost undefined image. One moment he was rapping like an Atlanta trap star, the next he was making pop-style heartbreak songs, then suddenly he's trying to be ultra-lyrical again.
What's one track from Free that your fans might be surprised by, and why?
There's a song called MSP, which is Masapus, which means your mother's, you know? And so my fans didn't expect that kind of title, that kind of flow from me, but also just like the tempo and the I guess the flavor of the song, something that they wouldn't expect from me at all.
So with Zulu Man with Some Power, things definitely got confusing. This was supposed to be his big breakout, his global moment, but the album was all over the place, right? And let's break it down. You've got Palm Trees, braggadocious Western trap anthem. Buku Bucks, straight Atlanta influence. Zulu Man, finally a taste of his heritage and a nod to his roots. That's hard, pure lyrical flexing, and it's like he's throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. There's no cohesive identity. Is he the Zulu boy from Durban, a trap artist from Atlanta, a global superstar, or a lyrical miracle in disguise? You know, Zulu Man with Some Power was ambitious, yes, but it also felt like NastyC was trying to be everything at once, and in the process, ended up being nothing specific.
Like I said to Keenan, I don't know if Nasty understands why South Africans actually gravitated to that verse like that.
Yeah.
It's obviously because of like the references.
Yeah. I had to think a lot about like how guys like Malum, Cool Cats, KO, aka himself, JR, how they approach their verses.
Now let's be fair, the pressure on African artists to go global is real, and once NastyC signed with Def Jam, everything changed. He wasn't just making music for Durban anymore, he was aiming for LA, New York, and London, and here's where the identity crisis kicks in, because when African artists try too hard to cater to the Western markets, they often lose what made them special in the first place. Think about it, what makes Burna Boy, Thames, or even Black Coffee globally recognized? They leaned into their identity, their sound, their culture. And meanwhile, NastyC seems to be constantly adjusting to fit a market that doesn't even fully understand him, or worse, doesn't care unless he's exotic enough, I guess. So instead of creating a unique African hip-hop lane, he sounds like a diluted version of Western artists. Not always, but too often. And we get to I Love It Here. His most, for me, I think it started making a bit of sense, right? But again, we're left asking, like, who is NastyC right now? Because some tracks show growth and introspection. There's maturity, fatherhood, reflection. But musically, the identity crisis, it still lingers. You know, it's good music, well produced, professionally done, but is it uniquely NastyC? And that's the issue. There's no sonic fingerprints, no signature style, no distinct musical identity that says this is a NastyC song and no one else could make it like this. I mean, AK jumped on everything, but AK had an AKA way of jumping on songs. And I hate bringing it to that because that's the best, but we can pick out any artist. You know what I'm saying? Blackie jumps on everything, but he always jumps like you'd expect how Blackie jumps on a song. With NastyC, at one moment, he said he wasn't doing Amapiano, then we had an Amapiano project. And it's just like, what are we trying to do, brother? You from Price City to you right now is... And I'm not saying that people should go back to what they did and be your old self because people have money now, people are changed now, but it's so confusing. And that's the danger here. NastyC is a great rapper, no doubt, but without a strong musical identity, he risks becoming good but forgettable, kind of. And you can be technically skilled, have all the label support, all the features, but if people can't define who you are musically, you won't stick. There's no real anthem, no defining sound, no moment that solidifies his place as a leader in the game, rather than just kind of just like a participant. And does NastyC have an identity crisis, in my opinion? I'm not going to say yes, but I do think there's certain things that NastyC has said about himself in the past that he still did. I made a video about him saying that he'll never fall or slip in no contract, and then he did. And when we had people like Nota trying to warn him or speak to him about it, he said he knew what he was doing. When he came out of the deal, he then admits that he made a mistake. I'm not saying he has an identity crisis, but I'm just saying NastyC, just be NastyC, bro. You don't have to make music because this portion of your fans like it, or I like it, or those other fans like it. No, if you like it, just make it, bro. Because it really sounds like it's always trying to cater for a specific market. The EP he dropped, Confuse the Enemy. I thought NastyC would never make Amapiano, but that was an Amapiano kind of project. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Does this guy have an identity crisis, bro?